Good afternoon, my friends. I want to share a couple of really cool things with you today. So, I'm going to be talking about a couple of micro habits that will help you to recover and maintain your recovery. This is also the topic of a workshop I'm doing next Saturday, and I just want to make that more vocal and out there that I'm doing workshops once a month at this point. It might increase in frequency, and they are far less expensive than one-on-one coaching. And honestly, in my coaching practice, I see a lot of people who just need more information on a nuanced level about how to implement the principles of neuroplasticity to get the results they want. That is such a big deal. And these workshops are $25. A half an hour of working with me or most coaches is going to be somewhere between $50 and $75, just to give you a sense of what the price difference is. And you'll get an hour to an hour and a half of solid content. So without further ado, that's next Saturday. I'll put the link to sign up in the description, but here's 3 of the habits that are most applicable across the board, as a lot of these are more later stage recovery oriented, like stage 2 and beyond. But I'm going to share the 3 here that are most generally applicable for anyone in any stage of limbic impairment recovery. So the number 1 is to learn and implement all principles of neuroplasticity and learn how to keep that in mind pretty much at all times. Make that part of the backdrop of your understanding of yourself and your life and what you're going through. This one thing too, where I strongly encourage you, if you have not, to purchase a program, any program. At this point, it's really just a matter of having a reliable and comprehensive source of information about neuroplasticity to refer to. It's something that a lot of people don't want to do because of the cost or because of the nature of the fact that most programs, either they're expensive or they're also, they're not fully complete, but having some sort of base of something you can go back to again and again that's meant to be comprehensive, even if it's not. Like, I know Gupta and DNRS are definitely not comprehensive, but they're a good place to start. They've got the principles there, something you can build on. The biggest thing with this is repetition. Whatever information you have and whatever program you do purchase, if you take that advice, go over the scientific, brain science, functional aspects of that program, again, for at least 5 to 10 minutes a day. Go over it again and again and again. If there's a workbook, if there's worksheets, do them on a monthly basis, or even go over them on a weekly basis or a daily basis until that becomes part of how you understand your experience in the moment to moment. That is when it really takes on the power to actually change your life in a really profound way. So that's number 1. That's just straight up go for that. Number 2, this one is really big. So overall in this process, the brain has a tendency, right? We all have a negativity bias. It's designed to help us survive, meaning the brain is going to remember and notice negative things in our experience more than positive because they're more likely to be life-threatening. So it's a protective mechanism that we all have. You can't rewire that. It's fully. It's something that you're always going to have. When we have limbic impairment, it's on, 100 out of 10. Like, it's really, really overactive. And so we're in an incredibly heightened negative state most of the time. So overall, one thing that I know DNRS in specific will ask you to do is pick a proclamation, meaning you proclaim or choose a state that you're wanting to cultivate with your visualization practice specifically. This is something I encourage you to do in just general. It's really great practice, is identify how you want to feel instead of just how you don't want to feel. Or what you don't want to experience. What do you want to experience? How do you want to be? I want to be joyful, energetic, and present. I want to be calm and confident. I want to be full of vitality and playfulness. Whatever it is, anything that resonates with you. Something where when you hear it, you're like, yes, that is how I want to show up in this life. That's it. I want that. Identify how you want to feel and proactively fill your mind and your focus and your time and attention with things that make you feel that way. And if that means listening to music or watching videos or singing songs and learning them or learning poems and reciting them to yourself or painting or looking out the window at, nature or playing games in your mind or with a child if you have one or whatever it might be, listening to recorded practices by others or meditations or whatever it may be, watching kids movies or doing kids meditations, whatever it is, proactively do the best you can to fill your attention with things that move you in that direction. It might not be 100% there, but move you in that direction. Listen to inspiring podcasts or books that give you a sense of empowerment, that you have the choice of how you choose to respond and filter and perceive your experience. You can choose to respond to life joyfully and playfully no matter what's happening, or calmly and confidently no matter what's happening. Everything can be a game if you want it to be. So things of that nature, but be intentional and be proactive, because when we have limbic impairment, our limbic systems are always going to be in a familiar, deeply grooved trauma pattern unless we're proactively choosing a different state. That's the road that's paved. You want to pave a new one. In order to pave it, you need to know what it is that you want, and so that you can keep grooving down that throughout the day. When the second we stop creating that, the brain's most likely going to go back to that most deeply grooved pathway, which is probably a negative emotion and a negative focus. It's generally how it is. The last one I'll share with you today is focus on what's going well, no matter what. That could be the fact that the sun is out. It could be the fact that you have running water, electricity in your home at the moment, or that you have clothes on, or that you have water to drink, or that you can breathe right now, or that you have arms and legs or eyes, or the ability to love, or that a team that you really like in sports had a great season or won a game, or it could be anything. It doesn't even need to be related to you specifically. Keep your focus on what's going well. If you've had any gains in your practice whatsoever, even a slightly calmer mind, a little tiny bit more ease or capacity in any arena, the ability to experience a little bit more joy, or be able to be present a little bit more to something that's important to you, whether that's doing art or being with a family member or a friend or a child or something, or a pet. The fact that if you have a pet that loves you, anything and everything you can think of, focus on what is going well. Focus on the positive. Again, that negativity bias is very strong, and it will have us feeling like no matter what's going on, life is just awful all the time. Even in the best of times, that negativity bias can fool us into thinking that things are awful. So I strongly encourage you to keep a proactive focus. And what this does, it's not rose-colored glasses, because if we have an active limbic impairment, so if you're in early stage recovery, your brain is tilted quite heavily towards the negative, like quite heavily. Even once you're recovered, your brain is still going to be biased towards the negative. When you focus on the positive, it brings you into a much more accurate and joyful and empowered perspective, a much more realistic perspective on your life and your experiences than when that limbic system is activated. And again, another bit of brain science is that the happier we are, the better our brain function, the more productive we are, the easier it is to find solutions, the better our health, you name it. Things are better when we cultivate intentional happiness. So not only is it more realistic, it's also more productive, and creates a life that you're going to be very, very happy to look back on, and happy that you cultivated and created for yourself and that you lived. Love you guys.